Okay, all right. So before we get started, let me just do a brief introduction. So my name is Dennis. I'm the lead of the middle school department at Think Academy. So I graduated from Duke University with a master's degree in quantitative finance, and also I had 8 years of study experience in the United States. Just throughout my study, I have taken SAT, SAT2, AP classes, and also GRE class with a math full score. And also I'm the Think Academy MC8, MC10 teacher, and also I taught many middle school classes as well. All right, yeah, so this will be something about me. So before we get started to the topics, I want to first share with you some of the facts from this year's application. So I'm not sure if you have noticed some of the application data so far. So here will be something we can catch up about to know the difference in this year's application. The first one is about our acceptance rate. So as you can see from the diagram here, we have the historical data from Yale's acceptance rates by class all the way to this year. So you can see that not only for the overall, the regular admission, but also for the early admission, Yale's college has seen a lot of decline on their acceptance rate, meaning that it's more competitive throughout these years to get into the top colleges, not only just in the regular admission, but also in the early admission. And also another huge difference in this year's application is that more and more colleges are now recovering their requirements on the standardized testing. So you can see that Harvard and also Caltech has announced that they will need to submit SAT scores in their next application cycle. So if you are going to apply to college in the near future, you are also going to get prepared to take those SAT or ACT tests to get a good and decent score to apply to these top colleges. Okay, so as you can see from a lot of this data here, we can see that college applications seems to be really random and also unpredictable, right? So we have seen a lot of cases when a student got a high GPA but got rejected by a lot of different schools. And also we have seen some other cases when the kids had like a lot of extracurriculars, but also didn't get into the school they want to. So is college admissions really unpredictable? What do you say? You can also type in the chat. If you also feel like college admissions is unpredictable, you can also type yes in the chat. If you feel like it's just okay, like we can still manage and get into a top college, you can type no. So what do you think about this question? So you can type in the chat and let me know, because it's going to be the major focus of our webinar today. We are going to show you something that you can actually work on to improve your odds for college application. All right, so seems like we are not that sure about the college application. I think that also says something about the whole admission process, right? Because during the admission process, you don't really know what's going on with the admission officers. So you have to really know from the actual data to see how you can improve your chances to get into the top colleges. So in today's webinar, we are going to talk about, first of all, how do college admission officers view your application? And then the second part will be for college admissions misconceptions. So I want to show you how you can just like get something done to get into top colleges. And then finally, I'm going to talk about a STEM prep guide that is suitable for your kids. So first, how do colleges view your application? So as we see here, there are a lot of different factors that college will consider in the application process. Namely like GPA, your class rank, essays, extracurriculars, competitions, recommendation, standardized testing, and also a lot of different things. So among all of this, which one do you think is the most important factor in the college application process? You can take a vote in the chat. Yeah, so you can open the chat box and let me know. So which factor is the most important application factor? What do you think? So in some of my past webinars, GPA for sure. Yes, I think so. So GPA should be definitely one of the most important factors. Recommendation letter. Yeah, that's right. So a lot of case, if you have a good recommendation letter, it can add so much values to your application. Totally. GPA. All right. So another vote for GPA. Yeah. So certainly GPA could be considered as the most important factor. Yeah. So even though we have a lot of different factors for college application, if you think about how the college view these factors, we're not going to make any assumptions. So I'm not going to tell you that like admission officers will value like GPA, they will value recommendation letter. I will give you my claim, but I will also give you the proof. So first of all, let me explain how the holistic review works. So when the colleges are evaluating your application, they are going to have a lot of factors as shown on the left. So there will be academic factors and also the non-academic factors. So what the admission will do is that they will try to score each of these factors and then determine your total scores to see whether they are going to take you to the school or not. So when you are trying to apply to the top colleges, it's also very important that you work on each aspect of this table here and just do your best to apply it and get a better results. But of course, we know that it's impossible to get a perfect score from all of these different factors. So we're also going to take a look on the college's preference to see which factors do the colleges value the most. So here I have one example from Brown University, which is also a very prestigious university in the US. So here we can see that the very important factors, according to Brown University, are mostly just academic factors, like the rigor of your secondary school record, your class rank, academic GPA, your application essay, and also the recommendation. Because this table was from last year's application, Brown was still like SAT optional during that time, so they will only consider your SAT score, but it's not going to be a huge focus. But in next year, Brown is going to also recover their SAT requirements. So I would say that they will value the SAT maybe more important in the near future. And then if you take a look on the non-academic, most of the factors are only considered. They're not going to be very important compared with the academic factors. So only your talent, ability, your character, personality are going to play an important roles in your application to Brown University. And also maybe extracurriculars will play an important role, but maybe not as important as the others. So now you can see that if you want to apply to Brown University, you definitely want to work on the very important factors and also the important factors. And you can kind of slack off on those not important factors because those will not help you a lot in your application. So let me give you another example from Stanford University. So yeah, do you have any child who wants to apply to Stanford University? If you would like to apply to Stanford, you can type yes in the chat. Let's see if I have the right table here. Okay, yes, all right, thanks. Yeah, so I can see definitely Stanford is the top colleges for a lot of our students. So here you can see the preference from Stanford University. So a lot of the academic factors, actually all of the academic factors are considered very important. And also extracurriculars, talent, ability, character, and personalities are also going to be very important. So now you can see that if you want to apply to Stanford, you are going to work on all of these very important factors. And it shouldn't be a surprise to see that if you got admitted to Stanford, usually you have a very solid academic background and also with outstanding extracurriculars. You can take a look from the preference here to see how they got all these admitted students. Okay, so now we can talk about all these academic factors to see how we can improve on all of this. The first one is going to be about GPA, right? So we all know it's going to be the grade point average. So for the GPA here, we also have a lot of kinds of the GPAs. The first one is the unweighted GPA, which is going to be a more traditional scoring method, and the full score is going to be 4.0. And then we also have the weighted GPA, which will also consider the difficulty of the course. Usually, if you got an AP class, the full score on that course is going to be 5.0. So usually the weighted GPA will be out of 5.0. But of course, different schools have different policies. So you want to also based on your own school to see the weighted GPA. And then another special weighted system is going to be the UC GPA. So UC system has their own GPA calculation standards. So you have to pay attention to that when you apply to UC. So they are going to like say, for example, look at your sophomore years and also like junior years honor classes to give you a higher weight on those GPA calculation. All right, and the other factor will be the academic level difficulty of your curriculum. So here you are going to make sure to have a stronger curriculum when you choose your classes. So typically AP IB class is harder than the honor classes and then harder than the regular classes. And the course difficulty will also directly affect your weighted GPA. And when you choose a difficult class here, you are going to make sure that not only you can choose a difficult class, but also within your ability. So you want to make sure that you can also handle the course to get a better score from the harder classes. And then the other one will be the student ranking. So the student ranking is also another important factor in college application, but in the recent years, they are not as important as the other factors because as you can see here, I have also a news from the news article saying that the importance of your school ranking has decreased a lot and universities prefer SAT scores like SAT, AP to see how you do among all the students in the US. They will prefer a more standard way to tell your academics. So this will also not be as important as before, but if you want to apply to top private universities like Harvard, Yale, you are going to also look on your class ranking. So here will be one example. So here I have the admission preference from USC, South like California. So here you can see that in 2012, USC will still consider the class ranking, but in the recent years, USC has dropped the class ranking from their preference. So they will not consider your class ranking at all in 2022. So if you feel like you don't have a good class ranking, don't worry, a lot of schools wouldn't look at your class ranking recently. All right, and then finally, we have also a few non-academic factors. So you can see that in the non-academic factors, a lot of things are really hard to really manipulate, right? Like your legacy, your family background, and whatsoever. So those will be some uncontrollable factors that you can really improve. But there will also be quite a lot controllable factors like your extracurriculars, your interviews, even your talent and ability can be improved with the efforts. Okay, so now you're going to see that if you want to apply to the top colleges, the most important thing is to improve on your academics. Only if you have an outstanding academic background, you can then be considered as a top applicant among all these schools because they just value your academics more than all the other factors, okay? All right, so do you find like the webinar so far helpful? Yes or no? Do you feel like you learned something from the webinar so far? If you have learned something, you can type yes in the chat. Okay, all right. Thanks so much, XYZ and Shiyuan Liu. All right, thanks. Yeah, so here will be the first part. So the key takeaway is that you are going to start now. All right, so if you want to work on the academics, you don't want to wait maybe until your grade 11, your junior years. You want to act right now so that you can get a better academics at the point when you apply to colleges. So I'm going to talk about 4 misconceptions about college application. And I'm sure that you have heard some of these misconceptions before, but now I'm going to tell you whether these misconceptions are right or wrong. All right. So first of all, what are the 4 misconceptions? So trust me, I have been asked a lot of these questions before as a teacher at the academy. So here will be the 4 misconceptions. The first one is that the ninth grade GPA is not important. It doesn't matter if you got a really bad grade for your freshman year. And then the second one is that the colleges no longer care about SAT scores because they have passed optional already. They don't care about the SAT scores anymore. And then the next one is taking more easy courses is the most important thing to improve your GPA. If you want to improve your GPA, you should just choose some easy classes to get a better grades. And then lastly, competition is not really important because you're not going to get into like the top competitions whatsoever. So it's not important. So Are these misconceptions true or false? Let's take a look on this one by one. For the first misconception, ninth grade GPA is not important because it doesn't matter if your grades are too bad. All right, so to answer this misconception, I also want to hear what you guys think about. So here, let me give you like two things to consider. Is there a big difference between a GPA 4.0 and 3.8? The first choice, no difference. The second choice, 4.0 is definitely better, but the difference is not huge. C, a big difference which can directly affect the chance for admission. All right, so tell me what you think. You can just type in the chat for A, B, or C, and tell me what do you think about this question here. Okay, so I got one vote for C. Do we have any other thoughts, any other opinions? If you have your own choice, you can also type in the chat. Maybe if you have a choice D, choice E, you can also let me know. Okay, yeah, so far I got 4 C's. All right, wow. So I think we all agree that there's a huge difference between 4.0 and 3.8. All right, so of course, I'm not just going to make this claim out of nowhere. I'm going to show you guys some data. So first of all, here I have the admission data from UCLA in the application cycle of 2022 to 2023. So you can see that based on the admission data, about 60% of admitted students got a 4.0 GPA. And here's the unweighted scale. The top score can only be 4.0. And then in the next tier, another 34% of students got a GPA from 3.75 to 3.99. And then if you take a look on all the below here, only less than 7% of students have a GPA below 3.75. So you can see that according to UCLA, which is one of the best public schools in the US, if you got a perfect score on GPA, then you are among the top 60% of all the admitted students. If you got a GPA of 3.0, that 3.8, that already places you maybe in the last top 10%. Okay, maybe the 10% percentile here among all the admitted students. So you can see that at least for UCLA, it makes a huge difference between 4.0 and 3.8. So you may just wonder, like, I know it's hard to get a 4.0, right, in high school, because that means you have to get straight A's from all the different classes. Is that even possible? So actually, for a lot of public schools, it's definitely possible to get a 4.0 GPA. So here I got a class profile from Lynbrook High School. Do you guys know this high school? Yes or no? Have you heard about Lynbrook? So if you are in the Bay Area, I'm sure you have heard about this high school. It's also a very well-known public high school in the Bay Area. All right, so if you don't know about this school, it's okay. So the Lynbrook High School has a national ranking of 101. So it's around the top 100 high schools across the nation. So for this school here, it has 21% of students who got a perfect GPA upon graduation. And also, if you take a look on the mid-range, like 3.5 to 3.99, also another 53% of students can get a GPA above 3.5 upon graduation. And keep in mind that this is actually a public school. It's not a private school. It's just a public school. So only for this school here, it also has a lot of students who can get a perfect GPA before their graduation. So just keep in mind that college admission is a nationwide competition, and you really want to compete with all the other excellent students across the nation to get admitted to top colleges. All right, so here I'm going to bust the misconception here. The grade 9 grades don't matter and a low GPA is okay. It's definitely wrong. So every year's GPA is very important. A GPA of 3.8 is just the bottom line. A GPA of 4.0 will make you stand out in the application. And of course, here I just trying to compare these two numbers. You also want to see how your school goes, because I know for some private schools, it could be just harder to get a 4.0. So you also want to be maybe the top students in your high school. Okay, so the second misconception is about the SAT scores, because we all know that during the pandemics, a lot of colleges have the test optional policy, right? So you don't need to submit your SAT scores if you're not able to do so. However, since the pandemics are mostly over, a lot of schools have reinstated their SAT requirement, including Harvard, Yale, MIT, Caltech, Dartmouth, and a lot of these prestigious universities have resumed their SAT requirements. So you can see that SAT or standardized testing is about to resume in the near future. So if you are going to apply to colleges maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, you really want to improve on your SAT score to get a better chance to get admitted to these top colleges. So here will be some data from the pandemic era, and you can see how the kids are submitting their SAT scores even in the pandemic years. So here you can see that for Brown University, about 54% of students have submitted their SAT score, and then another 27% submitted their ACT score. And also for the other schools like Penn's, like UPenn, and also University of Michigan, we also have a lot of students who will submit their SAT scores to get a better results. And how high of SAT scores would you need to get? So here we also have the middle, median score among all these schools. So for Brown University, the median is 1530. And for UPenn, the median is about also the same level here. We only have the 25th percentile and 75th percentile. And for Michigan here, because it's a public school, it has a lower requirements, but even for the median score, it's going to be 1470. So you can see that a lot of these top colleges have a high standard for their SAT scores. So if you ask me whether colleges look at SAT scores or not, I'm going to say definitely yes. So colleges still value SAT. And if your score is below their median level, then you should really reevaluate to see if you are going to apply to these colleges or not. So typically for an Ivy League school, you want to get above 1550 to get into these colleges. If you are aiming for top 20, then that will be 1500. If you're aiming for top 30, it will be about 1450. And then for top 50, it's going to be about 1400. All right. So make sure you use the SAT scores to see which colleges you are going to apply to. All right. And then the next misconception will be to take more easy courses to raise your GPA. So I've heard a lot of these questions in the past. So what do you guys think about this? So let me also give you something to choose. So is an A in a regular class better or a B in an AP class better? So the choice A, we are going to choose some easy class and get an A because I think that is better. And the second choice is to choose an AP class and get a B is better. So what do you guys think? Which one will be better? Would you rather choose an easy class and get an A, or if you want to choose the AP class and get a B? What do you think? AP will have more weight. All right, yeah, so you even give us the reason. All right, so I think so far we have 1 vote for A and then we have 2 votes for B. All right, so which one is better? So again, I'm not going to make just some claims out of nowhere. I'm going to show you some data. But first of all, what is an easy class? So when we say an easy class, what exactly is an easy class? So taking mathematics as an example, we know that in the US, high school has different pathways to learn math, right? So the easiest one is going to be the Common Core Standards, which learns Algebra 1 in grade 9, and then ends with pre-calculus in grade 12. So it's going to be the classes I have in red. So if you take this easy class and say you got a straight A, how would that help you in your college application? At least, according to Harvard, it doesn't help a lot. So here I have the data from Harvard University about their math level. So nearly 40% of Harvard's admitted students have reached calculus BC before their graduation, and only less than 10% of them have learned pre-calculus according to the Common Core sequence. So you can see from the data here, the pre-calculus is going to be this color here, which is going to be like this. So in the overall level, it's going to be less than 10%. And if you look at calculus BC, calculus AB, or even just some harder classes, I would say most of the middle students have taken calculus at least in their high school. So you can see that if you want to be in your safe zone and then take a bunch of easy classes to get your high GPA, colleges will know about that. They will know that you choose the easy classes to get a better GPA, and they're not going to encourage doing that. So they would like more kids who can also choose some harder classes, but also try their best to get a higher scores. So you are going to choose the different difficult courses and get high grades to stand out. So because a lot of top high schools, like public or private, their honor classes can be very difficult already. So if you have, like you are in a top colleges, like here I have one example from Ganghai, which is also another top public high school in the Bay Area. You can see that in their sequence, they are going to learn this analysis honors in pre-calculus level. And in this course, they're going to even learn some linear algebra in this pre-calculus class. So you can say it's going to be a very difficult class. And if you can get into a class like this to get a good grade, the colleges will know about that. And they will say, all right, so this kid is really proficient in math. And we should admit that the academics of this student is very outstanding. So this is how you can stand out academically. Okay, so for this misconception, make sure you know that you are not going to just like take some easy classes and get a better grades. You are going to take harder classes and try to get a better results to improve your chance of getting admitted. So try to avoid taking easy courses because high grades with an easy course will be considered as not challenging you, even if you got a good grade. And students interested in STEM majors must choose difficult classes in math and science. Because if you want to get into like the STEM program, you're going to show that you're really proficient in math and science. All right. So how many of you guys would like to apply to a STEM major in the future? Like your child, or if you, so who would like to apply to a STEM major? CS. All right. So that's a really popular major in the recent years. And that's also a CS, like a STEM major. Okay, yes, that's right. So I think STEM major is still very a popular like major. So you're going to also think about how to stand out among all the STEM applicants. All right, so the final misconception I have is about competition. So is competition really just not important? Or do we still want to take any competition? So the misconception goes like competitions is not very important because you're not going to get into the top Olympiad anyway. Like you are not going to compete in international math Olympiad per se. So that is true. That it's really hard to get into the top Olympiad or competitions, but competition has the lowest barrier to enter compared with all the other extracurriculars. If you are going to do a research, for example, you are going to come up with a good like idea, and then you are going to do some research by your own. You are going to do a lot of dirty works, and then you are going to reach out to professors, to the other research institutes to see if you can get a chance to work with them, and then you are going to work on the research. Compare with that, if you want to do competitions, all you need to do is to grab maybe a textbook, like find some problems, and you can just work on that. And also plus, when you learn all of this, they will also help you to get better in this subject. So compare with all the other academic extracurriculars, competition already has the lowest barrier to participate. And here will be some common but also prestigious competitions that you can consider. For maths, we have MC10 and MC12. For physics, we have also physics BO and F equals MA. And also for like biology, we also have USA BO competitions. So here will be something that you can also consider about the competitions. So why do we still want to compete? So all the top public and private high school are also participating in a lot of these competitions. So take Ganghai as another example. You can see that at Ganghai, in their like the school calendar. So here I have the syllabus from their analysis honor class. They even put like sign up for MC in their course outline. So they're going to remind the students to really sign up for MC and then just try to like participate in every year's MC. It's because the school will also know that if you have some like recognition from the MC 10 or MC 12, it's going to help you in the college application. If it doesn't help, the high schools wouldn't let you or wouldn't want you to sign up for the MC 10, right? They only do that because they know it has some importance in your application. Even if you didn't get a good score from the MC 10 or MC 12, it doesn't hurt, right? So you may like take some time to do the practice and you didn't get like to the next round, but it's okay. You just don't report like this activities in your application, and that will be it. So there will be no downside about participating in those competitions. And also you can see that for the like the science competitions and also for the math competitions, we can also see how popular it is among all the admitted students. So here on the graph, I have the most popular extracurriculars from Harvard students. So you can see that more students are like more than 20% of Harvard students have participating in math or science competitions. So we have about 22% participating in math and then 26% participating in science competitions. And they are only outnumbered by like community service, sports, student union, and also the other activities. So you can see that if you participate in the math and also science competitions, you're also in a very popular extracurriculars compared with all the other students. So to bust this misconception here, we have already seen that all outstanding students are participating in those competitions. If you don't participate, you are going to lose your advantage in your college application. And STEM students should find their strong subjects and prepare for a competition during their grade 8 and grade 9 or grade 10. So how can Think Academy help you with that? So after seeing all these misconceptions and know how you can improve on the academics, how can we help your kids to get a better chance of admitted to top colleges? So first of all, you are going to need a study plan that fits your need. All right, so you're going to find your study plan. So we can first help you to determine your study plan in high school. So we are all experts in a lot of US education, middle school and high school math pathways and course selection. So we are going to help you to first determine your course selection. And also we have helped hundreds of students succeed in math competitions. So in these years, we also have one student got placed in top 1 in the US math competitions exam, the MOP exam. So our student is ranked number 1 and got into the IMO US team. All right, so we also have a lot of experience in math competitions as well. So we can help you to determine your course selection and competition plannings. So if you are interested and want to know how to improve your STEM background in high school, you can also sign up this free consultation to speak with one of our consultants to give you some advice on how you can like prepare for like just academics, or you can also prepare for your course selection or competitions. So this consultation is completely free, and you can just talk with our experts to know our advice. So you can sign up the code in the bottom right corner here, and you can just fill in some of your information to let us know you better before you take our consultations. So how do we help you to achieve your goal? So even though our consultation is completely free, and we also have no service about college consulting, but we also do have some classes that can help you to reach your goal. The first one is to give you a better chance to succeed in a difficult math classes. And also we have SAT classes as well, and also the competition classes. So let me just quickly go through some of the classes option we have. So we have a pre-calculus class that can help you to get ready for your school pre-calculus class in the summer. We also have MC10 course that is good for kids who want to take MC10 this year. So we also have the syllabus. If you want to know more, you can just let me know at the end. And also we have our SAT class. So for the SAT class, we had 4 perfect scores, and then we have above 50 students who got a 1500 in the last year's SAT class. So we have a lot of experience in teaching SAT as well. So if you plan to take the SAT, you can also sign up for our classes during the summer. All right. And for those who are in this webinar today, I also have a very special promotions for you guys. So you have already seen that I use a lot of data from colleges. So if you also want to get this data and all this information, now you have the chance. So all you need to do is to sign up for our just join our WhatsApp group here, and then you can get into like this all the resources. So we are also going to send out all this just all this common data set in our WhatsApp group to just so that you can collect all of this. And let me double check. I think I have the WhatsApp group code here. Let me just double check. Like somehow it's not showing. Give me 1 second. So let me just share the screen like this. Okay, yeah, so here you can see the code. Let me just try again. All right, yeah, that's so weird. So you can just scan the code like this. All right, so you can scan the WhatsApp code to receive all of this data. If you want to know more about data yourself, you can scan the code, and we are going to send out all this top 30 universities data in our WhatsApp community. Okay, so you can scan the code. All right, yeah, so that will conclude our webinar today. So if you want to get more like STEM application or just like college application resources, yeah, in the future, you can also scan the code to join our WhatsApp group. And then the name, please. Let me double check. Yeah, and you can also scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation with our teachers as well. Give me 1 second. Or you can just add me first. So let me type my phone number in the chat. You can send me a message in WhatsApp first, and then I can invite you to our WhatsApp group. And if you have any questions right now, you can also let me know in the chat. So there will be playback. There will be recording for the webinar today. No worries. We are going to send out the recordings in the WhatsApp group as well. So if you want to receive the recording, you can also join the WhatsApp group to receive the recording. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can just let me know. Or if you don't want to like schedule another time for the consultation, you can also just let me know some questions you have, and then I can give you some advice right at this moment. When to take SAT? That's a good question. So we usually recommend students to finish SAT before their junior year, because in the junior year you are going to be a lot busier to do all the extracurriculars and academics. So we recommend finishing your SAT during your sophomore year. So that means if you are a rising freshman or a rising sophomore, then you are ready to study for the SAT already, and just to take the SAT and get a better score. Will SAT cover calculus? No, so SAT will only cover topics all the way until Algebra 2. Only part of the Algebra 2, so like logarithms, complex numbers are not tested in the new digital SAT. But if you are going to like say have some calculus, that means you're already proficient in math. I guess that will give you some advantages, but calculus is not needed for the SAT. What are some of the extracurriculars I suggest? So there will be a lot of things you can do, right? So first of all, if you have like sports, or if you have like any music, you can continue doing that in high school. And the second thing will be like all the clubs in your high school, because the clubs are the best place to improve your leadership and get a more impressive application. So you really want to also participate in your school clubs and try to get a leadership role. And then also for the competitions, if you can get a like 1 or 2 competition rewards, that can also give you a more well-rounded application. And then finally, for some of the other extracurriculars, you will also need to look at your desired majors to see if you have any related work you want to do. So I'll give you some examples. So we had one student from before who wants to apply to a pre-med program. So that student, we recommend him to like do some volunteers in a local hospitals just to get more experience in that. And then they can also do some programs in their high school like science fair, and then just to host a few seminar to talk about healthcare issues. So there will be something, a lot of things you can do if you already know what you are going to like say major or what's your interest in high school. Yeah, that's a good question. And how long it will take to prepare for the SAT? So usually like around 3 months to 6 months, depending on your experience. But most kids are able to just prepare for the SAT in 3 months. If they take the summer, that will be ready to just finish studying the SAT. How many times we can take? So for the SAT, you can take like say how many times you want, but you don't want to take too many SAT because you don't want to be seen as like try your luck and get a better scores. So you are going to take, I would say, about 2 to 3 SAT per year, and just try not to take that every year. You can take about in total 5 to 6 SAT at most. Does it count if a student takes SAT before high school? Usually no, because SAT score is good for 5 years. So if you take the SAT before your high school years, then most likely the colleges wouldn't accept the SAT scores. So you are going to take that again. But all the scores on like say since grade 9 will be considered as like valid scores. The summer before high school. That will come because the summer before high school, you are already considered as a freshman already. So because when SAT release their testing dates, they will start the school year in August. So the August SAT is already your high school SAT. Compacted mass. So middle school doesn't help a lot. So in middle school, you are still trying to build your foundations. If you had like some extracurriculars in middle school, the application wouldn't like see that very important. They would like to see more results from your high school years and not your middle school. So if you have like any math competitions, you want to continue doing that in high school to get a better results. MC10 for grade 8. Yes, certainly. So if you can get started on MC10 early, that will give you a higher chance to get a better score from the MC10. So definitely if you are in grade 8, you can also start taking the MC10. Any other questions? VAX robotics class in 7th grade as extracurriculars activity, will it help? It can help a little bit, but as I said, if you can continue doing that in high school, that's going to help you a lot. So robotics competition is a good extracurriculars, but all the competitions in middle school doesn't help you a lot in your college application, because college applications will look at specifically your 4 years during high school. So if you have robotics, that's perfect. You can continue doing that in high school to give you a higher chance. Yeah, first robotics will also be another like famous robotics competitions in the US. Yes, that's right. Yeah, so they can continue doing that like after middle school. Totally fine. How about USACO? That's also a good extracurriculars you can do like about coding, and also you can participate in that. If you want to get into platinum, it's going to be a little bit hard. But if you want to get like a bronze or silver, it's not going to be a very difficult task. But like also if you only have a bronze level, that's not also very outstanding for a CS major, but it will be a good add-on. How many AP classes are optimal? So based on your high school, if your high school, like say on average, give you like say like 6 AP classes, then if you can get to 10, that's already good. But for some public schools, like the average is already like say 12 or 13 AP classes. You want to be better compared with the average. So that's also depending on your high school, like say like average levels to see how many courses will be better. Yeah, thanks. So I will host more webinars in the future. So if you want to like also get more information like this, you can join our WhatsApp group, and I will also have more webinars in the future. But thanks so much for your support. All right, thanks a lot. So if you have no other questions, then that will be it for the webinars today. Yeah, you are welcome. So if you haven't joined our WhatsApp group, make sure to scan the code and join our WhatsApp group to know more about this. All right, so thank you so much. Bye, guys. Bye.